Just the other day, I was talking to one of my foreign students, and our conversation was about this 2-minute video. It's actually a video of an American reporter, and she was randomly interviewing people, asking them about their job and their dream jobs. What I did was, prior to our class, I asked the student to watch the video and to listen to some details so we can discuss them during the class. She was a little bit disappointed, and she was stressing about the middle part because there were 3 sentences that she could not make out. What I did was I explained to her verbatim. Then she said, "How can you do that? How can you understand what they're saying perfectly and completely even though they're talking too fast?" She also said, "If it's already too difficult for me to understand a short clip, what about a full film or movie?" Hey there, Teacher Christian here from Gravy English, your go-to channel for everything about better English. So for today, our topic is how I learned to understand fast English in movies and news reports. I have narrowed down the methods into 5 simple steps. So stay with me until the very end of this video. Let's go.
You're under no obligation to say anything, Major.
X, Major.
Upon leaving yesterday, did you attempt to contact Major Turner? Did you confront her attorney, Colonel Moorcroft, at Fort Dyer at 1100?
Like most of you watching this video, I'm also a non-native speaker, and naturally I've been through that period or stage wherein I did not enjoy, I didn't find watching movies entertaining because basically what the actors or speakers are saying do not make sense to me. They talk in a flash and I cannot make sense of every word or sentences that they make, so I thought I was missing a lot of information. Most of the time I felt like they talk gibberish. All I hear was blah blah blah. I'm just guessing from their facial expressions and their hand gestures, and still I could not make sure if I do understand them 100%. Most of the time it felt like it was only 50 to 60%. But of course I've improved significantly over time through constant practice, and here are the methods I also share with my student on how I did it. So method number 1, learn with captions or subtitles first. So captions or subtitles are those text versions of what the speakers say that you can find at the bottom of your TV screen or your monitor. They're actually great tools for me. Listening to a foreign language gets less painful and much easier if you have the visuals to help you. And when I say visuals, I mean to say like photos, illustrations, and in this particular situation, the text. They're helpful, especially with vocabulary that are foreign or new to you, because these words, these expressions are those that we don't usually use in our own speech on a daily basis. Certain sounds or combinations of sounds do actually make sense to you if you see them in written form, right? However, some people would actually say that it's a bad habit when you're learning a language and you watch a lot of movies with these subtitles or captions, because they say over time you will rely too much on them and it will come a time that you may not be able to understand what you watch or listen to because there are no captions or subtitles. I think that's not true, especially for the lower level students and if you really are serious in improving your listening skills. As you can see, and from my experience, pure listening does not really work. I mean, we do have this experience when we watch the whole film, right? And most of that film or almost everything didn't make sense, but we did listen the whole time. It does happen that when we watch, there would be words and sentences would just go over our head, right? They are totally incomprehensible. And if we do just pure listening, we will have this false belief that what we understood from what was said is this, when in fact it's actually this. When using captions or subtitles when practicing with movie clips, I always ask my students to use the listen and read, listen again, and imitation technique. It's actually a 4-step process, as I already mentioned. Basically, the first thing is they listen to the movie clip without the subtitles, and that's just for a general understanding of what that scene is about. And then second step is to listen while they read the captions. They follow the speakers as they say their lines, and they read the text at the same time so that they can dig into the details more deeply. And then the third step is to listen again, but this time without the subtitles. At this point, there is a better understanding of what the clip or that scene was about. And then lastly, they try to imitate or mimic the speakers or the actors in that clip. I will explain in the next method what this imitation is about. The second method is pay closer attention to the speech sounds. I think you all would agree with me if I say that if you only pay closer attention to anything, then you'll get better. If you want to improve your listening skills, pay attention. And when I say pay attention to the speech sounds, I mean to say you really listen intently to the pronunciation, the intonation, the word stress, the sentence stress, the nuances of the speaker. And you also should be looking out for any contractions, for any liaisons, or the glides in the speech of the actors or speakers. So for example, in American English, when you watch a movie or even a TV show, you will hear speakers say something like wanna, which is actually want to, or gonna, going to. Also, I don't know, I don't know, you all, let them, let them. Notice how they say expressions, how they say sentences. Try to notice how these expressions match their facial expressions and their hand or body gestures, because in the future it might be quite helpful, like when you hear them again but the speakers are not enunciating as clearly as possible. So because you have already heard them from the past and you know which expressions those are associated with, then more or less you can guess what they're trying to say. Alright, so the third method is imitate the speech of the speaker. When you hear a strange expression or a strange sentence, you simply pause. You can pause the video clip and then repeat what you hear. Repeat what the speakers say. The idea is when you produce the sound, your brain picks up the sound, and it should make a good impression on your brain. So the next time that you hear that expression again or that sentence again, your brain automatically define, or your brain automatically gives you an idea of the meaning of that expression. Repeat what you hear, say it aloud. It's very important, as I've been mentioning in my previous video, to say what you hear aloud and then use your facial and mouth muscles so you can produce the right sounds. For example, you hear something like, do you want to eat? Do you want to eat? Which actually means, do you want to eat? So just simply repeat to yourself, do you want to eat? Do you want to eat? Do you want to eat? It means, do you want to eat? Do you want to eat? Method 4 is to focus on just one accent. accent. So especially when you're starting out to improve your listening skills, I strongly suggest that you just focus on one accent. These video clips or news reports or TV shows, they come in different English accent. There's American, British, Australian, even Indian English. So just focus on one because each comes with their own nuances. Okay, speakers would have a specific way of pronouncing words and sentences, and even some unique variations with their blendings and glides. So better stick with one. Fifth method is to make it a regular habit to listen, but do not overdo it. In my experience, 10 to 15 minutes a day to do listening practice is a good time to set aside to improve your listening skills, but do not overdo it. Do not do this activity for 1 or 2 hours because focused listening or intent listening can be very exhausting, and it can be boring at times. It's also very crucial in language learning to do passive listening. When I say passive, you do not consciously, processing whatever you hear or whatever comes to your mind while you are watching something. Passive listening is just, subconsciously processing what you hear. And this is a good exercise because over time, when you have finally a better grasp of what you hear, then you will not have this habit of having to really process everything and think too much when you are watching. Thinking too much can actually slow down your understanding of whatever you hear or watch. What I'm trying to point out is just to enjoy watching, enjoy practice listening, and just have fun with the process. You don't really have to be stressed over it. Another thing that you can do to keep motivated is to watch the movies that you really like. So if you really like Hollywood movies, don't watch a documentary if it's not really your thing. Alright, so final reminders before we wrap up. Keep in mind that improving your listening skills, especially when you watch movie clips or even whole films, TV shows, or news reports, will not happen overnight. Okay, even for me, it took months, even years to finally develop the skill. It's perfectly fine not to understand everything that you hear. I mean, this happens even in our native language, right? I mean, there are always those moments when we watch something, but whatever the speaker or actors say will just go over our head, and that's okay. That happens all the time. There will always be those words and expressions that are totally strange and would not make sense to you. So don't get stressed over them. Don't get disappointed and think that there's something wrong with you, because I'm sure 99% of the time there's really nothing wrong with your listening skills. So don't beat yourself up. Okay, there are also videos with subtitles or captions that are not accurate. Okay, they are not 100% correct. They are not really edited. So what you see in written form is not exactly what the actors or speakers say. So be careful about them. Okay, so pretty much that's it. I hope you learned something helpful today. If you have other tips or tricks to share, please do share them in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.